All right. Hello, everybody. What's up? Phil here live on the stream. It's a big new release day, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Friday, July 19th, 2019. How is everyone doing today? I hope I find you all well. And I wholeheartedly welcome all of you to my gameplay stream. The first of two for today. And it's a new game hype release. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a special day for me in particular. Allow me to explain why, okay? Long before I ever became an internet content creator, there was a little game back on the Xbox 360 that I enjoyed. It was incidentally a game that one of the rare games that I played on the Xbox 360 during the 1 or 2 years before I started doing videos for YouTube, but I also had basically stopped playing competitive Street Fighter, all right? Previously, I really wasn't into console games because I was always into competitive Street Fighter and took up all my free time. But then in the year 2007 to 2008, I basically tried to play as many console games as I could to immerse myself back into gaming culture because I'd been basically separated from it for the greater part of a decade to play Street Fighter. And I played a little game called Marvel Ultimate Alliance on the Xbox 360. This game, in my opinion, of that console generation, it was absolutely outstanding. It was an incredibly fun game if you were a fan of the Marvel Universe that had a ridiculous amount of Marvel characters in it, both mainstream, like the X-Men and the Avengers, but also some, lesser-known characters. Had some hidden characters that you would unlock after playing the game. Just a ton of content in this game. Some really epic stages, such as the Mandarin's Palace, Murder World, as well as Asgard, and the Shi'ar Empire. Just like a lot of really fun stuff in this game, okay? And I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was an outstanding game. This is a game that I played both with people from the Street Fighter community who I knew. We did co-op over the internet. I played it by myself. I replayed it a bunch of times. This was kind of like the penultimate chill game where is it like insanely attention grabbing? No, it's certainly not going to be a game that, like, for example, I really need to think hard to play this game. It's not Dark Souls. It's not a first-person shooter. You know what I mean? At the same time, it's really fun to just play as all these different Marvel characters, fight epic Marvel villains in big atmospheres. Doing co-op with people online is really fun because some of the abilities co-op is pretty broken. And I ended up playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 probably like 3 different times through during the course of that year or so because I really enjoyed the game so much, okay? Now, fast forward a couple years later, all right? Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 was released, all right? And if you're not aware, this game was a little bit more, how can I say? I think they really wanted to just make a sequel to make money rather than anything else. It was, in my opinion, it wasn't as good as Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1. I remember it had a pre-order bonus of the Juggernaut, and so the Juggernaut was all over all the promotional art and everything for the game. And incidentally, this game came out right at the kind of like the beginning of when I was getting really popular on YouTube as a YouTube gamer. So this was about 10 years ago, okay, guys? That long ago, yeah. Roughly 10 years ago. This was back still when I was actively playing Street Fighter 4, okay? And so as I was seeking out the ability to do a brand new release co-op playthrough of the game, I reached out to my Street Fighter buddies at the time, who I was still actively engaged with and playing games with 10 years ago, and I invited them all over to my place. This is when I lived in the condo in Connecticut, and we got beer and pizza, and we just sat there all day playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, as a full co-op playthrough. There was no live streaming back then. Okay, and so it was just basically me and my camera and the guys hanging out, drinking, and playing games. It was fun, don't get me wrong, but I remember the game being very lackluster. First of all, there was glitches. I remember there was one part we were in a cave or something, and the game kept glitching, and we couldn't advance, which is really frustrating. And I also remember the game not being as fun as the original. Like, I remember the original just seemed like a lot more fun with the level design and stuff. It was still an okay game, don't get me wrong. But I remember saying as we were playing it, you know, I'm glad you guys are over here doing co-op with me, because if it weren't for this game probably wouldn't be very interesting. I like the first one a lot better. Okay. Now, as I said, back then, things were a lot different. I wasn't doing direct capture. There was no live streaming. So it was just the camera recording the whole playthrough. It was noisy as hell because I had other friends over who weren't necessarily playing Marvel. Instead, they were playing other fighting games like Street Fighter 4 and stuff in the room next to us. And it was making tons of noise and everything. So you can still watch that playthrough. I'm almost positive. I think it was on the original Dark Side Filled channel that I used to use on YouTube, and you could still watch that, and it's still there live. It's not like it went away anywhere. So if you ever get a chance, you want to see the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 playthrough from almost 10 years ago, you can watch that at your leisure. Okay? So that was the last time we heard from Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Now, in the meantime, I went back and I did a full co-op playthrough of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 with John Rambo. Back in the day when John used to come over to my place and we would do co-op gameplay once a week, we wanted to do some major co-op playthroughs, and one of the ones we did was Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1, because I had never done that for YouTube before. So there is a full playthrough of that as well up on YouTube that you can enjoy at your leisure. All right? But it's been so long since we heard from this franchise, and I've said over the years, man, I wish this was a franchise that they would bring back, especially with the fact that all the Marvel movies, right, are so incredibly popular. I just couldn't understand, what on earth happened with the franchise, because it was making tons of money, right? It was making tons of money at the time, and it didn't seem to make much sense that it just, disappeared at the height of Marvel's popularity with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? So then it was announced, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is coming out. It is being worked on. However, it is a Switch exclusive. Now, listen, I own a Nintendo Switch, so I was happy about this because I was like, damn, at least I get to play it. But there's a few reasons why I'm a little bit disappointed and skeptical about this being a Switch exclusive. The first is that I don't know how the game's going to perform. I really wish that this were a multi-plat game, because then I could play it on my PS4 Pro and get the best obvious visual quality out of it. The Switch is an underpowered console by all means. Let's just be honest here. It is. It's nowhere near as good as the PS4 or the Xbox One. So I'm a little worried about how the game's going to run on the Switch. Maybe my concerns are unfounded, considering this is a Switch exclusive and they designed it exclusively for this console. Maybe it won't be that big of a deal. But I am a little bit nervous about that. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the Switch does not have voice chat. I know that sounds ridiculous in the modern era, but yeah, a console with no voice chat in a game designed primarily for online co-op. One of the foibles of the Switch, guys. So, before you get ahead of me and say, oh, but wait, Phil, there's an app on the phone. For people who own the Switch, you could do voice chat with people on an app over your phone. Alright, that they designed it specifically for Switch games. First of all, do you realistically think that an app on your phone is going to have a good connection constantly? Probably not. Let's be very honest here. Alright? Voice chat over the phone. We want to, even using a cell signal, I don't even get very good reception. Now imagine trying to use an app on your phone to do voice dialogue. The other thing is, how exactly would you capture that? And the answer is you wouldn't. It would sound terrible. It would sound like, a speakerphone try to be recorded in a freaking in a capture setup like this. It would sound like shit. Okay? So it kind of sucks in that regard. Now, some people say, well, you could set up a Discord and you could set up a Ventrilo or whatever. I'm not doing all that. This is one playthrough, and in essence, if I were going to be doing repeated co-op playthroughs on my Switch, then maybe I would look into it. But as you guys know, typically I don't play any games on the Switch. Right now it's kind of exception, as I'm playing Super Mario Maker 2, and now I'm going to be playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. So it's kind of like the exception to the rule right now. But I'm definitely not going to be bothering with trying to figure out voice chat. So the bottom line is, I am going to be doing co-op for this playthrough. In fact, I have 2 co-op partners lined up for today, and I have the possibility of 1 or 2 others who may be able to join me starting tomorrow, okay? So we may have a full 4-player co-op tomorrow. Today we're going to have a 3-player co-op. But there's just not going to be voice chat, all right? And it is what it is. I'm doing the best I can with the setup I got. In all of their amazing expertise, Nintendo decided not to put voice chat integrated into their console for the Switch. It is what it is, so we're just not going to be doing voice chat. It's going to be gameplay. If anything, though, I'm going to be very honest with all of you, okay? I honestly think possibly this may make the playthrough more interesting for those of you who are here watching. And you might be saying, well, why? I don't understand. Well, if you guys have watched some of my co-op playthroughs over the past few months, for example, when I played Apex Legends with my buddies Brian and Kekin, or when I recently just did the Borderlands 2 DLC that bridges the gap between Borderlands 2 and 3. Those playthroughs were good, don't get me wrong, and I had a lot of fun with them. However, when I'm directly talking with my teammates in a voice chat, all right, it pulls me away from the immersion that I have with you guys in the stream chat. So for those of you who are here live right now and you're looking for a fun and engaging stream, all right, if I were constantly talking with people chatting about the game, more than likely that would take away from my interaction with you guys. And you might say, man, I really wish that Phil was talking to us more. It seems like he's more hyper-focused on the game. And some people even have termed this, oh, Phil is in YouTube mode, okay? If you don't know what that means is back in the day when I used to just be a YouTube content creator or YouTube gamer, I would basically not interact with stream chat at all. I would have the stream on, but it would be more fan service than anything else for those who wanted to watch live. I would basically ignore the stream chat, and I would just be hyper-focused on the game, okay? And so what people say is when I play a game and I get hyper-focused on the game to the point where I'm not interacting with my stream chatters anymore, they call it, oh, Phil went back to YouTube mode. He went back to his old-school YouTube mode, right? And I understand exactly what you're saying. You guys are right. You know, that used to be a big thing when I was playing games, is I would just kind of hyper-focus on the game. And now, in the past 2.5 years since I became a full-time streamer, things have changed dramatically in that regard, okay? So, what I'm saying is, maybe it's actually more of a gift than a curse that I won't be doing voice chat during the playthrough. Because even though, yes, I'll be focused on the game, I'm going to be able to be reading and reacting to what you guys are saying in the stream chat a lot more than if I was constantly talking to my teammates. You see what I mean? And I'll be very honest here, even though, yes, cooperative gameplay and cooperation is essential to victory in Marvel Ultimate Alliance if this game is anyone like the other first two games, it's not necessarily 100% demanding that you have to use voice communications. You can pretty much, once you figure out your character's abilities, it's not that big of a deal as long as you know what you're doing. So, because every character's different. You know, you got your melee characters that are all just physical combat. You got your projectile characters that are at distance combat, but they're kind of weak, so you have to keep your distance. You got characters that will buff the party with various abilities, or debuff characters that make your enemies weaker or slower. So it all depends. You know, every character's different, and it's kind of cool in that regard that there's tons of replayability, tons of unlockables in these games, and I'm looking forward to a lot of that over the course of the playthrough this weekend, okay? But I think it's going to be fun in regards that we're just going to be able to talk with each other and not worry about, oh no, Phil's completely distracted by talking with other people and stuff like that, okay? So there you go, guys. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 starts today. Now, by the way, I've been told there is a tutorial section that you need to, go through first. And, I don't know how long it is. Typically with these games, maybe about a half hour. Then once you're through the tutorial, then you can invite people for co-op to your game. I already have 2 people who I sent friend invites last night, and they're ready to go. So I hope that they accepted the invites and they're ready to go. So I hope they'll be ready to invite them to the game. And, this first gameplay stream will be Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. It'll be fun, okay? Now, later tonight, I will be doing a chill stream of No, not that. I'll be doing a chill stream of Major League Baseball MLB The Show 19. This is a chill playthrough that I did for several months. The game came out in the end of March, and I've been playing the game on and off, probably about once a week for several months. And people really seem to like my journey through the career mode of the game. Now I'm on the Pittsburgh Pirates full time. The teams, it's funny because the team sucks, but I'm actually doing well with my hit record. So it's interesting to see me wailing and getting base hits and home runs, and then the team just completely flubbing every game and us losing anyway. But in reality, it's more about the interactions that we have during those streams and having chill fun, you know, just kind of hanging out, shooting the shit, talking while I'm playing a game. So that's later tonight around 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. 2 hours of MLB The Show chill fun. I hope you guys will join me for that, okay? Then, tomorrow, more Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. It's going to be the main gameplay stream again, okay? So I hope you'll join me for that tomorrow. And yes, that will be full-on co-op, and we may have a new co-op partner depending on how things go. Tomorrow night will be a late-night stream of Judgment. All right, Judgment, the ongoing playthrough from the makers of Yakuza that I've really, really enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to more. So that's tomorrow night. Then on Sunday, potentially the final stream of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. And the reason I say that, these games, at least in my experience, playing the first 2 of them, are between 8 to 12 hours long. I believe the first game was around 10 hours, and the last one was around 8, if I remember correctly. And I'm trying to remember 10 years ago. But I know they're not super long games, unless they completely broke the mold and changed up the formula. These games are not incredibly long, so some of the appeal of the game is kind of replayability, going back now with the new characters you've unlocked and doing like New Game Plus and stuff like that. I'm not necessarily going to be doing that. I know that probably won't be the most interesting thing for my viewing audience. Okay. So, hopefully, you know, within 3 sessions, we'll be able to wrap it up. And the good thing is, you know, my co-op partners, you know, made time to play this on stream with me, and I appreciate that. And I want to be respectful of their schedules. I didn't want to be like, oh, let's space it out and every other day play it, so now they somehow have to get, like, work off every other day to play it with me and shit. That'd be kind of weird, okay? So this should be a fun experience, and I hope that you guys are ready for some fun co-op gameplay, some fun streaming here with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 over the next few days. By the way, Sunday night, I forgot to mention, will be Minecraft, my weekly Minecraft chill stream. Monday, we'll mix it back up, and we'll go back to Super Mario Maker 2. And that'll be a fun 4-hour stream of just, you know, user-created levels that I'll be playing. And then Monday night, more than likely, will be me playing more Judgment, okay? Tuesday's my day off this week coming up, just so you guys know. So the rest of the week will be a mix between Dragon Quest Builders 2, the conclusion of Final Fantasy 9, the return of my Q&A show, Ask the King. It returns this week, everybody. So I'll urge you, please, if you'd like to get a chance to get your question answered on my Q&A show, Ask the King, please head over to my forums, thekingofhate.com, all right? And please post up your questions on the forums for that show. That should be a lot of fun. I love answering your questions. It always is a good time. So please consider doing that during the course of this week, because that's coming up this next Thursday. And the more questions I get, the better the show always is, okay? Let's see. Just trying to think if there's anything else I want to cover. So I should mention this. The Viewer's Choice event playthrough for the summer will be Super Mario 64, and I'm still looking for feedback on what the best version of the game is. I'm certainly not ready to play it yet, but probably by the end of this month, I'll be starting up that playthrough. And so I'm looking for the best version. Some people have suggested I do not play the DS version of the game, the Nintendo DS version, because that version apparently is much different from the original, where it's way easier, and there's a ton of extra characters and stuff that make it way easier, and I should just play the original version because it's more challenging and fun. So, you know, looking for information on that, please let me know what the best version is. For those wondering about the SpongeBob playthrough, I will be playing SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom next year when the new remastered version is released. All right. All right, so outside of all that, the only other thing to mention before we get to the plug segment is the monthly sub goal, which, as you can see, guys, we are pretty far away from. And we've got about just under 2 weeks left in the month. Let's see. There's 31 days in July. Today's the 19th, so potentially we've got about, 13 days left, or 12 days left in the month. One of the cool things about this playthrough is that we've just added a ton of new emotes to celebrate this playthrough, all Marvel themed. Okay? So if you can take a look, we've got, I believe it's like around 10 Marvel themed emotes, including Captain America, Iron Man, the Hulk, Black Widow, a dabbing Mr. Fantastic, Deadpool, and the coolest one, in my opinion, the lean-in manual finger snap, Thanos, or Thanos, however you want to pronounce it. It used to be Thanos, then the movies came out, and everyone's like, oh, it's Thanos. Okay. So because a movie came out and they pronounced it differently, all of a sudden it's a different name now. Okay, whatever you say. But anyway, I love these emotes. Shout out to Popsicolo who created these for us just in time for the playthrough this week. And I know many of you will be using them like crazy during the playthrough, which is awesome. It's a great incentive to sub. And don't worry, these are not permanent. These will probably be around for a little bit, and then we're going to switch back to a lot of the old ones that you guys really liked. You know, subscribing to the channel gets you many benefits, including access to over 30 emotes. You don't have to watch advertisements when I run them. Okay? And you get a cool chat crown badge to show how long you've been an ongoing supporter. All right? So, definitely consider subbing. And if we hit 525 subs at any point in the next, 12 days or so, whatever's left in the month, I'll be doing a Rage-a-thon marathon event where you guys will be able to nominate and vote on games that you feel will cause me rage. And I'll play them in a marathon setting. It'll be a fun summertime event for sometime in August if we hit the sub goal. So please consider subscribing to the channel. All right. All right. So now let's get to the gratuitous plugs, everybody. And then we're going to get to shout-outs for those who have contributed. And then we're going to get set up and started here with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Sound good? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for 11 amazing years. For 11 years, I have been an internet content creator. I've had an absolute ton of fun doing it. When I started out in 2008, it was just a casual hobby that I did behind the scenes after work when I had my office job. Then I got laid off from that job in 2010, and in 2011, I started doing YouTube full-time. I never expected it would become anything, and it ended up blowing up and becoming my job for 6 years. All the way through 2017, I was a full-time gaming YouTuber, and it was a lot of fun. It was a blast. Then in 2017, YouTube's ad revenue model just fell apart. They lost most of their major advertisers, and people like me all of a sudden found it completely unreasonable and just not possible to make a living being a YouTuber anymore. So I weighed and balanced my options, and I decided to become a full-time streamer. And for the past 2.5 years, I focus primarily on putting out fun and interactive streams for all of you. I'll be honest, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made, and it's been some of the most fun I've ever done as a content creator. I love these interactive streams. We have so much fun on a daily basis. I now have chill streams that are set up just for us to interact while I still do major gameplay releases like today. So it's a lot of fun, and it ends up becoming, in my opinion, something way more organic and interesting. All right. However, when I changed up my formula, all right, I had to change up the way that I make money because I have to pay the bills and I have to keep stuff going. And therefore, I rely primarily on crowdfunding rather than ad revenue on YouTube to make a living in this day and age, okay? Now, there are many ways that you can contribute if you enjoy my gameplay streams and if you like my on-demand long-form archive videos that I still post up on YouTube to this day. They barely make me any money, but I still post them up there as a legacy to those who for those 6 years supported me as a full-time YouTuber. I don't want to leave those guys in the dust, all right? So all that being said, there are many ways that you can support. I'm about to mention them, and I will say this up front. It is incredibly appreciated to anyone who contributes in any manner. It all helps, and it allows me to keep doing what I love and have a passion for a living. However, understand that it is not mandatory that you contribute. I'm happy just to have people come by and hang out with me on a daily basis and enjoy these raw gameplay experiences with me. I think it's an amazing thing that people care about me and my opinions on games, and they just want to hang out with me and see what I have to say and do when it comes to these releases, all right? But that being said, I understand if you cannot contribute and or you just choose not to, but I am so grateful to those who do because you guys keep this going, all right? So without further ado, the ways that you can contribute. Number one, you can check out my Patreon at patreon.com/DarksidePhil. Your monthly pledges there earn you personal perks, depending on how much you pledge. I won't go into the details. They're all listed there publicly. Please give it a look, and thanks to anyone who is a current patron of mine. Number two, I have a Teespring Store where I sell all kinds of fun merchandise, primarily t-shirts, but many other things. Anything you buy from there helps me out, and you get a cool collectible, all right? Number three, I have an Amazon Wishlist where I've listed up all of the different gaming currencies, including PlayStation Store, Xbox Live, and the Nintendo Store credits. I'll be honest, the last couple of weeks, people have been very generous and bought me a lot of credits on there and have actually allowed me to play these games without, having to really buy them up front with my own money. So that's good. You've helped me with the cost of streaming, and I appreciate that greatly, okay? So if anyone's considering buying anything from my Amazon wish list, you can find it below the stream on a panel, or you can type !wish list into the chat. Just a forewarning, if you are going to get anything from my Amazon wish list, all right, you need to send me the digital code afterward, because Amazon has really set up this wish list system for, like, oh, you're buying something physically and having it mailed to someone, which obviously you're not if you're buying a digital code. So you have to email me the digital code if you buy it, or else I won't get it, okay? Thanks to those who have. That's much appreciated, all right? But if you are here live on today's stream and you're looking for nice interactivity and a live shout-out for your contributions, obviously, if you either cheer with bits or subscribe to the channel or you tip me live during the stream, those are the best ways to get live interaction and recognition, all right? As you can see, at the top of the leaderboard, we have a stream stats leaderboard. Excuse me, at the top of the stream, we have a stream stats leaderboard that I update periodically with the top tipper and top cheerer of the day. So that's some extra recognition. There's also a cheering leaderboard integrated into Twitch chat where the top cheerers get recognized. And on top of all of that, I give live shout-outs for cheers, subs, and tips that come in during the stream. Now, understand what I say and do on my stream is subjective. I have to abide by Twitch's terms of service, and I do try to maintain a nice, chill atmosphere. We don't talk about drama. We don't talk about politics and religion. There's many things that we don't really address because we feel that they would derail the stream. And in general, all you got to do is check the stream rules at the bottom of the stream. You'll understand them, and most people abide by them. Every once in a while, someone breaks the rules and or purposely tries to irk me or get me to say something that's going to get me in trouble. And that's why I upfront say I have no obligation whatsoever to say or do anything on my stream. Understand that. So I am incredibly appreciative for contributions, and I will go out of my way to try to give you recognition, but understand that there's some bad apples that'll probably be messing around, and I'm just going to ignore those messages. Okay? I do want to say up front, thank you so much, everyone who did support me recently. You guys have helped tremendously. You're helping me get through a really tough time in my life financially. Thank you for that. All right? Thank you very much. And I appreciate that so much. So thanks for everything. Fair enough? All right. Now let's get to shout-outs. Let's get to shout-outs for those who've contributed. All right. So, first of all, overnight, we had many people who contributed. And what I mean by that is I wasn't even live streaming, right? I wasn't here live streaming. And people contributed overnight, which is really amazing that people keep me in mind when I'm not even live broadcasting, right? Pretty awesome and amazing. So let's give credit where credit is due. We actually start off with Infinite55, who did an 1100-bit cheer overnight. Thank you very much, Infinite55, for that overnight cheer. It is appreciated. We also had Golden Colts, who did several 100-bit cheers overnight. So thank you very much to Golden Colts for those cheers. Be the Colonel Corn also resubscribed for 10 months. So thank you very much to Be the Colonel Corn for that overnight resub and the ongoing support. I know you've been here much longer than 10 months, but thank you for 10 months of ongoing sub support. Now, we get the people who actually contributed while the live stream was running, so these people will actually qualify to get up on that leaderboard. We start off with Rob. What is up, Rob? I haven't seen you for a bit. I hope you're doing well, and welcome to the stream. Rob tipped me $11 and says, "My dear Philippians, how are you? I recently watched all 3 seasons of Stranger Things in 1 week. I thought, therefore, that this would be an appropriate amount to tip. Indeed. Thank you very much. 11, a character on the show. I will say this, Rob, if you have not, which you probably didn't because you probably didn't want to spoil, give a look to the Stranger Things 3 playthrough that I recently did here right on stream and is now archived over on my DSPGaming channel on YouTube. It was a lot of fun. It directly tied into the plot of Season 3 of Stranger Things. It had some really fun gameplay elements. It was cool to see how they took the characters from the show and turned them into, video game characters with unique abilities and the like. And I really liked the game. It's a really old school throwback. If you like old school games from like the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo era, you're probably going to love the playthrough. If you don't like that stuff and you like more modern gameplay, you're probably going to hate it. And a lot of people did because they were like, oh, it's too outdated or whatever. I personally really liked the game, so give it a look if you get a chance. But anyway, thank you, Rob. Getting the tipping starting today with a significant $11 tip. That is much appreciated. Thank you, Rob, for the support. Up next, we have R Capsize, who tipped me $2 and said pick up the new album Carrie Diamond. I don't know what this is. I think this is I think this is a meme for some other streamer. This whole Carrie Diamond thing. I don't know what the hell it's referencing. It has nothing to do with me. I don't know anything about Diamond or whatever. I think it has something to do with like a ranking in a game, a competitive game, and someone carried you to the Diamond ranking. Since I'm not competitive, I know it has nothing to do with me. But anyway, thank you very much for our capsize for that tip. And then Lennon Manual Ban. Not Lean-In Manual Ban. Lennon, like John Lennon Manual Ban. Tipped me $3 and said bottle up toxic toilet juice and sell it like a Twitch gamer boy. All right. You guys want some toxic toilet juice, huh? Now, at least that's a meme that has to do with me. That's something that I've said in the past. So thank you very much for the $3 tip to Lennon Manual Ban. Okay. Weird that I guessed it correctly. I didn't guess it. I base my knowledge of these memes off of what people say in my stream chat. So I've heard people talk about this Carrie Diamond meme in my stream chat before, and so all I know is based on what people say about it in my chat is what I assume it is. Sometimes I'm wrong. Okay, so there you go. I don't even know who that's referencing. I'm just gonna assume it's Wings of Redemption, considering almost every meme reference in here is Wings of Redemption. Every once in a while, people do an LTG meme, but usually it's Wings of Redemption. So, all right, continuing on. Fat Mr. Bo did a 245-bit cheer. And he says, I won't be here long. I'll see you for the chill stream tonight. Thank you very much, Fat Mr. Bo. Let's get you up on the leaderboard as the top cheerer of the day. Yeah, see you tonight for MLB and much, super chill stream. People really enjoy those chill streams. It's funny because people are like, why the hell is Phil still playing MLB? Those are the people who really don't understand that I don't play every game for the gameplay. You know what I mean? Like, MLB has been one of the most fun, chill games to play as a chill late-night stream that I've done all year, because it really is not attention focused. It's I swing the bat every once in a while. I field some balls every once in a while. Not a big deal, right? It's more about us just hanging out and talking and having fun. So definitely looking forward to that tonight. Thank you, Fat Mr. Bo, for the first big cheer of the day. All right. Shout out to ZGSP17, who has resubbed to the channel for 31 months. Holy crap. 31 months of support. Thank you very much, ZGSP, for that amazing support. It is much appreciated. And hope you enjoy the resub. Fire7672 has resubbed for 5 months. Thank you very much, Fire, 7672 for a 5-month resub. I appreciate that as well. Geodude has now resubbed for 4 months. And Geodude says, have you played Celeste? No, I have not. Now, I believe Celeste a few months ago was a free game for, I believe it was for Xbox Live subscribers. Don't quote me on that, but I'm almost positive it was Xbox Live subscribers who got access to Celeste for free. And I'm pretty sure that I got it, like digital rights to it. I don't know if I downloaded it, but I'm pretty sure that I got it when it was a free Xbox Live game. I don't even know anything about it, but a bunch of people had messaged me and said, dude, this is a great game. It's free. You should grab it while it's free. So I did, and will I ever play it in the future? Maybe. That's why I grabbed it, right? Am I actively planning on a playthrough of it right now? No, I'm not. But maybe in the future, okay? So anyway, no, I have not played it, but thank you, Geodude, for the resub. I appreciate that. Okay, Fire7672 has now done a 300-bit cheer. And it says, I love the playthroughs. Thank you for 11 years of content. Well, thank you, Fire, for the support. Thanks for being here and checking out the stream today. And thank you for the cheer. Let's get you up on the leaderboard because you have now become the top cheerer of the day. 76, 72. 300 bits. Thank you. Okay, continuing on. Logan tipped me $1. And Logan says, since you're playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance, would you consider telling us the Wolverine Toy Story? I hope seeing Wolverine in the game doesn't bring back bad memories. Enjoy the playthrough. All right. So here's the Wolverine Toy Story. When I was a small child, I was a huge fan of the X-Men cartoon on television in the very early 90s, okay? And I was a collector of action figures, comic books, comic book cards, etc. And I collected X-Men action figures. The hottest action figure at the time was Wolverine. Now, there were two versions. There was Wolverine, his old school outfit, which was like brownish maroon and yellow. okay? That action figure was everywhere. You could buy it anywhere you wanted it. It was just 100% easily accessible. But then there was another version of Wolverine that was in his really old school suit, which is now kind of his modern suit. The one where he's in blue and yellow, okay? And that figure, at the time of release, all right, was incredibly rare. Incredibly rare. All right? And you might say, well, it's just an action figure. Well, back then, action figures were like big business. Like, if you could get an action figure at release that was incredibly rare, these things would sell for like upwards of $1,000 sometimes. That's how valuable they were. And as a collector, as a kid, I wanted this action figure so badly. All right? So my parents and I, you know, we would go out every once in a while and we'd look around in stores and the like. We could never find this figure. I knew it existed, you know, but I could never find this figure. So one day, we go to a comic book store and they had it. The action figure was there. Now, it was expensive. I believe they were selling it for like maybe $20, when in reality, the price on the figure was like $5, okay? But they were selling it for like $20. And I said to my parents, oh my God, please, I want this figure so bad. It's so rare. I've been looking for it forever. Please buy this figure. And I even told them, I said, I don't even care if you buy it now and give it to me in 6 months. Just buy it now so that you have it, right? I know it's not my birthday. It's not Christmas. Buy it now so we have it, and then just give it to me later for whatever. All right? You know, that's why I was basically being very practical. And my parents said, no, we're not buying it. And they didn't. Okay? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going by my child's memory. Never again was I able to get that figure until like 8 to 10 months passed. Okay? And basically that first run of the figure was never available again. The only reason that the figure became more prominent is because it was so in demand that the manufacturer, Toy Biz, decided to do a second run and made a ridiculous amount of them. So this figure, the first run was incredibly rare and very valuable. The second run was basically worthless because they made so many of it that it didn't matter anymore. And so, you know, I think if I remember correctly, it was probably like the end of the year or whatever. And my parents bought me the action figure for Christmas or whatever. At that point, I didn't even care anymore because the collectible value wasn't there because it wasn't the first run figure or whatever. And I remember just being very disappointed. All right. Now, I told this story years and years ago as basically a way to help parents. And I said, if you have a kid who's totally into something, all right, and you have the opportunity to get something that kid wants right away, you should, because basically what happened was that entire year, my parents went crazy trying to find that Wolverine figure again and couldn't find it until the end of the year when it was mass-produced by Toy Biz. So imagine your kid wanting something bad, you didn't take the opportunity to get it when they wanted it, then the entirety of the year, your kid wants it and you can't find it anymore. This is almost very similar. Did you guys ever see the movie Jingle All the Way? It's basically the same story. Where everyone wants the same action figure during a short time period. You can't get it because it's incredibly rare. Now, later on, it'll be widely available. But it was kind of the same deal. So anyway, the reason I told the story was I hope that when you become a kid, or excuse me, when you become a parent and you have a kid, if you have the opportunity to get them something they really want and you can get it early, and it'll save you peace of mind. All right? It'll save you peace of mind because later on your kid does something nice, or it's a holiday or a birthday, you'll have a good gift for them rather than then having to rush around looking for it later on and not being able to find it. So that's the moral of the story that I was trying to tell when I told this story years and years ago. Because I've told this story, you know, in the past. But, of course, my idiot detractors turned it into, wow, listen to how fucking entitled and demanding Phil was as a child. And he really holds a grudge against his parents for never buying him that action figure and blah, blah, blah. In reality, no, I could care less. You know, as an adult, I don't give a shit that my parents didn't buy me an action figure. It was the most insignificant thing. But when you're a kid, it's like the most important thing in your life, right? So I was just telling this story as a way to help people who may be becoming young parents. Well, in reality, people turned it into something really stupid and negative, which is pretty hilarious, okay? But in reality, there's another part of the story that I never told you guys. And that's that because I did not receive that action figure as a child when I wanted it, I was scarred for life. And now, outside of my streams, I fully dress up like the Wolverine in reality, in real life. And that's why I actually don't leave my house that much. because I go out dressed fully like the Wolverine as a superhero, and you know, it's not very good to my wife's embarrassed, and you know, it's all because I'm emotionally scarred. I can't help it. Like, I have to dress up like the Wolverine when I go out now because I didn't get the figure. And I call everyone bub, and I smoke cigars, and I tape butter knives with duct tape to my hands to pretend like they're adamantium claws, and I just run around in my underoos in the middle of the street, and you know, that's why I don't leave my house. I just can't control myself. In fact, you may not realize it, that emote that we have, that Wolverine emote in the stream chat, is not actually a drawing. That's actually a picture of me in my Wolverine outfit. So, you know, there you go. That's right, and I pretend like I'm Canadian. I talk about hockey. And I say a boot. You're absolutely right. All right, anyway, guys, let's continue. Eternal Napalm did a 50-bit cheer. Thank you very much, Eternal Napalm, for the cheer. I appreciate that, sir. Good to see you. Prideful Zombie tipped me $1. Thank you very much, Prideful Zombie, for $1 tip. I appreciate this. Now, I received $1 tip from someone. I don't know if this is a meme. This is not a meme that applies to me, but I'm curious what the hell this meme is. All right, you guys ready? Let's read it just for the hell of it and see. Maybe you guys, if I read this, you'll know what the hell this meme is, because I don't know what it is. All right, I have no idea. So it's someone named The Man Who's in Love. It's spelled wrong, because it should be WHO''S, but instead they use the word WHOSE, which implies possession, the incorrect use of a word. So bad grammar here. But anyway, this person tipped me $1, The Man Who's in Love. And here's what he says. I love her. I took out an expensive loan to buy her an expensive phone. I bought her a hard drive. I spent over $1,000 in the years I've known her. Phil, what do you do when you can't stop spending money on someone you in love with? So I don't know if this is legit or if this is a meme. It has nothing to do with me. But I mean, I can't really comment on this because I don't know the situation. If this is unreciprocated love, then you should probably stop. Because this is actually, at this point, to me, from what you're describing, it's borderline obsession. That you're basically throwing tons of money at someone who is not reciprocating the same feeling for you. It's a crush, basically. And if that's the case, you should not be spending money on this person. Okay? You know, if this is not someone who's interested in you the way you're interested in he or she, then you should not be doing this. All right? No amount of buying gifts and money over the years is going to change someone's feelings about you. All right. So what I would say is drop it and move on. But I don't know your whole situation. I don't know if you're talking about someone who maybe you are in a relationship with this person, and what you're saying is because you can't stop spending money on them. Like, I don't understand the situation. Why does my chat always mention finger sniffer? That's a Wings meme. Apparently Wings at some point made a meme about sniffing his fingers and it smelled like food or something. So now people constantly bring this up, and the lean in finger snap emote that we have to temporarily replace the lean in manual ban kind of looks like Thanos is sniffing his fingers, I guess. So people are making this joke now about this Wings meme. So that's what that is. Okay. All right, so anyway, The Man Who's in Love, I wish I could help you more. I don't really know your situation, so I can't, but hopefully it works out. All right. Fair enough? All right. Shout out to Hashim, who tipped me $5 and says, why do the Japanese do everything better than America? Cars, video games, etc. I don't know. When it comes to technology, I mean, I have to admit, Japan seems to be ahead of the curve than a lot of the world, right? A lot of the stuff they put out ends up being a lot higher grade quality, I guess I would say, or more advanced than what we have in the U.S. I would be very curious to learn about Japanese smartphones, because from what I'm to understand, in Japan, they have an entire different line of smartphones that don't work outside of Japan, and they're inexpensive, but they're like really nice phones, I guess. Like people say all the time, I go to Japan, I got a burner phone when I was in Japan. It's like a really good phone, and it wasn't even expensive or whatever. So I wonder, because apparently they don't use, I don't know if they don't use Apple or Android or whatever over there. They got like their own thing going. I'd be curious to learn about those phones, what they got. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe something in the water. Who knows what it is? I don't know. But anyway, thank you, Hashim, for the $5 tip. I appreciate that. Moving on. Agent 1502 has resubscribed for 8 months. Thank you, Agent, for 8 months of support. I appreciate that very much. Okay. Moving on. Judicious Echoes did a 200-bit cheer and says, comic industry and related action figures were bloated in the early 90s due to a speculative market and artificial scarcity. The first run, 1991, Uncanny X-Men Wolverine goes for $30 on eBay in the box. So, wow, still to this day, it still goes for $30. That's pretty impressive. Like I said, because the second run was so abundant that it basically was worthless. But the first run was so scarce that it became like incredibly popular and valuable back then. Although you hear it's only worth $30 anymore. That's the thing. Like collectibles, one day will be worth tons of money, and the next day they ain't worth jack. That's really what happened with the comic book market. Like there were comic books that were worth ridiculous amounts of money at one point. I remember early on the Spawn comic books, the first run Spawn comics were worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. At one point, you could buy like Spawn 1 through 20 for like $1,000 first run. And then later on, they weren't worth diddly dick. Like, they were less valuable than toilet paper. No one cared about Spawn anymore. So, yeah, that's with everything. That's with all collectibles. But you're absolutely right. There was a speculative market and artificial scarcity in the early 90s where basically they were trying to make all collectibles, whether it was comic books, cards, all that kind of stuff, statues, etc. They were all insanely overvalued. And it became this crazy market. Comic book stores were shooting up all over the country out of nowhere because they all of a sudden became a profitable business overnight where you could sell comic books for a ton of money. So, and it was funny because then by the late 90s, early 2000s, all those comic book stores went out of business because the whole market crashed when you got the digital age, right? No one wanted physical comic books anymore. Everyone just wanted to get everything on the internet. So you're absolutely right. You know, one of the biggest collectibles back then were actually the Spawn action figures that were insanely overvalued at hundreds of dollars, and now they're not worth shit. So, it's just funny to me, like, the Spawn action figures back then were so insanely popular, and then you go to, like, now you can go to, like, a collectibles store, and they got it on a shelf. Oh, look, it's, like, $15 for a figure that sold for, like, $500 in the 90s. All right, continuing on. FL Gibson 97 has resub for 6 months. Thank you very much, FL Gibson, for that 6-month, subscription, and he says, laughing out loud. Well, thank you, FL Gibson. By the way, 6 months, you've earned the Golden Crown chat badge. Let's see. Vash did a 50-bit cheers. I think that meme was a jab towards your donators. I doubt it. At least if it was a very indirect meme. I think he's talking about that tipper before, because no one took out a loan to buy me an expensive phone or a hard drive. I don't even know what that, like, that directly, no one's ever done that. I don't think that's a reference to me. And by the way, here's the difference between if you actually do something to donate to my streams versus unreciprocated love of a girl. I continue to put out content, entertaining content for you on a daily basis because you guys support me. As I said, now my main income is crowdfunding, okay? Very little money that I make is made off of ad revenue anymore on YouTube. It's all about crowdfunding. So when you guys actually step up and support me via, say, the Amazon Wishlist or cheering, subbing, and tipping during a stream, etc., that allows me to keep putting out the fun content for you on a daily basis. Versus you're just you're chasing some girl that's, you know, never gonna reciprocate anything you do for her. I'm already putting out a service for you that apparently you have deemed, you know, good enough to warrant support, right? And I am very appreciative of that. So again, thank you to all of you who are supportive, and you know, just thanks for everything. Fair enough? Okay. I guess that's it. So the last thing I'd like to do before we get started with gameplay, I want to do a shout out to the top cheering contributors of the week. Alright, and then we're going to get started here with gameplay. Fair enough? Alright, so shout out to the top cheerers of the week. Let me get this up on my laptop. Hold on a second here. Hold on just 1 second. Come on. Here we go again. Here we go again. With me battling my my laptop. All right, it's working now. All right, so shout out to the following cheerers of the week. In 10th place, Egg Gangster. 9th place goes to Joe. 8th place goes to Golden Colts. Thank you very much, Golden Colts. 7th place goes to Vote Democrat. 6th place, Vash7342, who's here today cheering. Thank you. 5th place, Nihilistic Goldfish. 4th place, Infinite55. 3rd place, Philip Smelly. Wow. Philip Smelly, disgusting, raucous burp. Actually, it's Philip Smelly Chair. 2nd place, Cosmic Clown Face. And in 1st place for this week, RFHC5. So thank you all for the cheers. I appreciate that very much. And Hashim just tipped me another $15 to become the top tipper of the day. Holy crap, thank you, Hashim. Let me go ahead and get him up here on the leaderboard. And he says, you should really start cooking videos. I've said this a million times, but I'll say it one more time. All right? I guess it's worth reiterating. I'm not a good cook. I never was. I never will be. The very brief period of time when I used to make videos called Poorly Cooking with the King was more of a parody series than anything, showing that a gamer who basically has no cooking skill tries to make food and fails at it repeatedly. I don't think there was much that I ever made there that was good. I think the few things that I think I made eggs in a basket that was really good. But basically out of that entire series, maybe that I do 2 or 3 things ever that were actually decent, and everything else was pretty shitty. Okay? But, you know, I'm not a good cook. The only thing that I can tell you that I can cook well, there's a few things. Number 1, my own homemade Italian sauce, which is based off my mother's family recipe that I have tweaked over the years and changed up a little bit and made it a little bit different to be my own recipe. That definitely is one of the best things ever that I can cook. It's amazing. I use it with multiple meals, including pasta, certain meats, meatball grinders, etc. It's really freaking good, okay? So I'm not going to lie there. It is great, and that's the one good thing, I think, gourmet level that I can actually make. And, you know, I guess people would want to see me make that again. People have expressed interest in seeing me make that again, but I never really bothered with it because I just like having a private life where I don't have to share every possible little thing that I do with all of you. So I really haven't done those kind of videos recently. Maybe one day I'll do it, but for now, no. Okay. Anyway, continuing on, the other things I can make, basically anything that's stir fry. You know, I could do a stir fry, like chicken fajitas, steak fajitas, that kind of stuff. I could do stir fry Asian food where you make different kinds of, you know, Asian veggies with meat. And you put in seasonings and stuff. I'm decent as a stir-fry cook. I could do a decent job, okay? You know, I can make burgers, and I actually do them pretty well. Unlike people who just for some reason can't make a burger to save their lives, I can make a pretty good medium burger with a nice pink center without burning the burger on the outside. So I'm pretty decent at that. And outside of that, I mean, like a salad, that's simple, you know. Sandwiches. I'm actually pretty damn good at making sandwiches. Whether it's just a regular sandwich with condiments and you know, well-made, cut well, and, you know, or, you know, panini-style sandwiches. And also breakfast sandwiches. Like, I could make a good, like, bacon, egg, and cheese bagel sandwich and stuff like that. I've actually, over the years, gotten better and better at doing this stuff. That's the kind of stuff I can do. All right? Nothing complex. Nothing really interesting. And... you know, like I said, at one time I had this silly series called Poorly Cooking with the King where I attempted to make stuff, and a lot of the times I just failed and it sucked. I have zero interest in going back to that series and ever doing it ever again. So I appreciate the tip, Hashim, and yes, it's very, you know, helpful. But no, I have no desire to go back to that. Okay? I mean, my wife is a great cook. I don't need to be good at cooking. Shh, don't tell anyone. But if you marry someone who's a great cook, you don't have to be one. I'm just saying. Okay. So the man who in love tipped another $1 and actually said, to be clear, it wasn't anything negative or a meme anything, just a random question. If I went into details, it would probably be 10 paragraphs, but yeah, we're not together. She doesn't share the same feelings. That's the gist of it, but I can't wait for the game. All right, well, thank you for another $1 tip. Now we know the deal. It wasn't a negative meme or anything. And I just wish you the best. I know it's tough, especially when you have unrequited love or a crush or whatever. Drop it. Seriously. It's unhealthy, especially if you're spending money on someone like that. You just drop it. It's not going to result in anything. You're just hurting yourself. Okay? All right. Hashim to be another $10. Wow, Hashim being very generous today. Thank you very much, Hashim. We're now up to $49 in tips already. Thank you guys very much. And he says, what are your thoughts on Ultra Street Fighter 2, and what did you think of the 30th anniversary collection of Street Fighter? Ultra Street Fighter 2 was a very fun game on the Switch. It was, at the time, the only major fighting game on the Switch. This was over 2 years ago. And I really enjoyed it, except for the fact that it had three broken characters in it. In Evil Ryu, Violent Ken, and Akuma. Now, I don't mind them having overpowered characters in it, but they stupidly allowed those characters in online ranked gameplay. This is supposed to be like competitive level gameplay, and they put 3 overpowered broken characters into it. The other thing was the connections were pretty bad to the point where like people could just spam Dragon Punch with a character over and over, and you couldn't do anything about it. And people found ways to program moves so you didn't even have to do the move input. So people would pick Violent Ken, program Dragon Punch to a button, and then just spam the button, and you couldn't do anything. Like the connections were so bad you couldn't even do anything. It was instant win. So outside of that, when I played matchups against people that weren't those characters, I actually very much enjoyed the game, and I had a ton of fun with it that year that I played it. But overall, the game ain't worth a crap, because basically they made it as a way for people who aren't good at fighting games to cheat by picking 3 overpowered characters and mapping buttons or moves to buttons to win in ranked gameplay, and it ended up just being a crap fest. Okay? Now, as for the 30th anniversary collection of Street Fighter, I think it's a great collection for anyone who's a fan of Street Fighter and wants to go down memory lane. In particular, I think that Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is a really good version. But some of the stuff in there is not very good. For example, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo does not run at the proper game speed. It runs way faster than the original arcade edition, to the point where it changes the entire game up. Certain things become way too overpowered because you can't react to them because it runs too fast, and other moves now are not viable anymore. It literally changes the entire game at a competitive level, and it's disappointing to me because we were told this was arcade perfect. It's not at all. It has many differences from the arcade edition because of the speed difference, okay? As for Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, I do think it's a good version of it. However, there was actually a much better version of it years ago with the what was it, HD? I forget what it was called, but it was the edition for PS3 and Xbox 360, and that version had all these cool challenges and things. Like when you played it, it would give you, oh, you're working towards this goal that gives you an achievement because you parried a certain amount of times or you did this certain amount of combos. And that was cool because not only were you playing the game, but you also were challenging yourself to complete challenges and stuff. So this version was bare bones. All they literally did with this 30th anniversary collection, they put emulators into a game and run emulated versions of the games without any other effort. They didn't add anything new to it or anything. So if you're a fan of the history of Street Fighter and you just want to play every Street Fighter game from the originals, the 90s, it's actually a good collection. But if you're looking for like actual value for your buck, it's not really there. And also, if you're looking for new features, they're not really there. And if you're looking for the arcade perfect versions of the game, they're also not really there. So it's a fun collection, but it's certainly not great. Okay? So let's see here. Hashim tipped another $10. Holy crap, Hashim is being so generous today. Thank you very much, Hashim. And he says, did you like Street Fighter 1? Well, Street Fighter 1 is incredibly different compared to other Street Fighter games. It actually does not have a real competition because this was very primitive. It didn't even have like consistent special moves. You could only play as Ryu or Ken, who are identical characters. Street Fighter 1 is okay as an arcade button masher game, but outside of that, it's not a very good game. If anything, it's an oddity, and it's fun to play it to see where the origins of Street Fighter came from, but that's about it. It's nothing to put any significant time in. You play it for an hour, you're done. You'll never play it again. Okay? So there you go. Man Love tipped me another $1. Is the same person again from before. It says, I try so hard. So I've been loving her for years. Feelings like they're never going away. By the way, checkers or rallies, have you ever had any before? I never have, but want to try it. If I remember correctly, I had checkers once. Many years ago, I believe I was attending a tournament in Texas. And one night, it was the only thing that was open, and we drove over to Checkers and grabbed, like, bags of fast food, and I really liked the burgers there. But that was, like, I mean, not even kidding, over 15 years ago. So I couldn't tell you what the hell they're like now. I've never been to a Rally's, but I remember Checker has a checkered flag is, like, their thing. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the pre-stream. I think it is now time to end the pre-stream and to begin with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. As I told you, we got to get through the tutorial before I can invite my co-op partners to the game. So let's get through the tutorial. I don't know how long it is. And then we'll invite them, and we'll have some fun co-op gameplay here today. Should be a lot of fun. I'm very excited for it. Like I said, I really liked the original games. And hopefully they did a good job with this one. Okay, everybody. Thank you very much. Let's end the pre-stream and let us begin. Oh, hold on a second. Heaving Earth just sent me $2. He said you should play more Mortal Kombat 11 or Street Fighter games. I'm not complaining about your streams, but you play the same games on chill streams all the time. Rotate it out. I would love to see you stream Third Strike, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Ultra Street Fighter 4, any of the grades. I wouldn't play Alpha 2 or Ultra Street Fighter 4. I would consider Third Strike again. I do like the game. The problem was I couldn't get any competition. Whenever I played it, I was playing like the same two people over and over, and I got tired of it. Same thing with Super Turbo. Even though I didn't like the version, I still kind of played it, but I couldn't get any competition. I love the classic Street Fighters. I would play Super Turbo and Third Strike all the time if people played them. But the collections are essentially dead. There's like no one playing them anymore. So I don't know what to do in that regard. You know what I mean? Hey, I get the competitive bug every once in a while. I'd be happy to go back and play those games if you guys are interested. Let me know. Maybe I could add those back into the streaming rotations. All right. Thank you, Heaving Earth, for the $2 tip. All right. Now we shall end the pre-stream, and we shall begin Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. In fact, I'm putting on my headphones, so I'm committing to it. All right. Let's do this, guys.